guys, welcome back to BL World Drama, your go-to source for the juiciest scandals in the world of BL and GLs. From trending hashtags to sizzling social media drama, I've got it all. Join me as I dive deep into the lives of your favorite stars with exclusive updates, secrets, and interviews that will keep you hooked. Subscribe now, ring the bell, and let's dive into the glitz, the glam, and the scandalous world of BL and GLs. So let's get right into it. So today's video is about Freenbecky and everything surrounding Freenbecky. Now on Thursday, Nam went on live and said that the relationship between Becky and Freen hasn't changed and insinuated that they probably love each other more now because they check on each other constantly and are aware of how the other person is doing. Now I'm trying to understand what she meant by saying that the relationship, that they love each other more. Does it mean, was she trying to tell people that the relationship has graduated? Or why was the reason she had to tell people that? She could have just said that their relationship hasn't changed and they're closer than ever, or this whole ordeal that friend went brought them closer. Now she didn't have to say that they love each other more, especially after knowing that this has come, or this life came after she had spent the whole, I think, Wednesday or Tuesday making subtle tweets that people were accusing her of still being the captain of the Freenbecky fan service. Now I understand Nam's position that she probably feels like maybe she isn't talented enough, she isn't well known, that she feels like she has to always ride the wave, the Freenbecky wave, for her to actually get opportunities or to get a job. I don't blame her for that because at the end of the day, she's still looking out for herself. Now, what I also don't understand is that she came and said that fans came for her and accused her of continuing to ship when she didn't do that. She basically said that someone was beautiful and people accused her of shipping. And she realized that that is not her problem anymore, that whatever she does, people will always accuse her of shipping. So that is a you problem now and not her problem. And I said, where was this Nam when people were actually giving her evidences of her shipping Fren and Becky and her pushing Fren and Becky to be real? Where was she a coward then and ran to deactivate her Twitter and deactivate her comment section? Why didn't she do a live then? Because now it's not so many people accusing her of fan service, but then there were thousands of people actually accusing her of fan service. What did she do? She cowered and she went on hiding. But now she's so vocal about letting people know that it's not her problem, it's a you problem. Now, whatever whatever Nam has to do to actually feed herself, she seems like a person who will do. She will go to any extent to actually have people talk about her. I feel like she feeds off it. She might act like she doesn't care or she's hurt or something, but I feel like she feeds off it. She feeds off it because every single time she always finds herself to be at the center of the conversation, no matter what. And I'm wishing her all the best. Seriously, wishing her all the best. She might not feel like she is fan servicing now. She might not be directly fan servicing, but she has to understand that whatever she does from now on, she actually genuinely hurts people by her words. And she has to take that into account. She actually hurts people by her words and by her actions. And no matter what she does, like, people won't forget it. Like, people will always be reminded of it whenever they see her. So probably she should put more energy into actually working to be a better actress, to put more energy into working to be more marketable, and actually work towards on being known for her, being liked for herself, than being liked for what she has to say about other people and to talk about other people. And she went on live and actually brought the matter of Freenbecky when she has two projects, Lady Pin, and I think she's also on the sign. Now, even if she's there for just 10 minutes, the whole season, she should have talked about that. She should have talked about that. Even if her accumulation for that series is actually 30 minutes, she should have talked about that. If she's good at singing, she could have showcased her talent on that live and actually stopped speaking on other people on her life. So that's all I'm going to say about Nam. Now, another person that was a topic of discussion was Friend, because she changed her PFP, her profile picture on Twitter, to her and Becky promoting her birthday fan meet. Now, a lot of people were taking it like, the shippers were taking it like a very bold move, and some people were shocked at first because they didn't actually believe like it was a friend account, but it was Friend who did that, and people didn't know why, because we had seen previously that Becky had posted a photo of her and Friend going to Taipei, which they hadn't done in a long time. Now, people didn't understand why things were suddenly like changing. And then we also see that when they went to tip up stage, like, they even like touched one another when singing. They touched each other's hand, and they actually looked comfortable doing it. Now, when she changed this profile picture, like, shippers were so happy because they felt like Friend Becky was back. Now, we I have discussed, like, before I did discuss that Friend had, during the Uranus prayer ceremony, when she was trying to take a picture, she had tried to hold Friend Becky's hand to actually make like a posture to take a photo, but Becky hadn't noticed it, and people were quick to come and call out Friend for saying that she was like ignored and she was still trying to push fan service and all that. And we have known, like, when the matter of fan service came out, like, a lot of people were saying that Becky was the one who always initiated fan service most of the time, like 90%. Like, it wasn't Friend. Now, we are seeing that Friend is actually becoming more bolder with Becky. And she got a lot of hate, trust me about it. But she also got like a lot of people extremely happy. Extremely happy. Now, even yesterday, during her fan meeting with Becky in Taipei, she was actually also very free. And I'm thinking, Like, because I know evil should have been out here actually terrorizing Fren and Becky at any moment, like they did anything to actually push fan service. Now, evil account has been suspended, but I feel like that doesn't stop that person to actually do that, because you can actually make another account on Twitter. Now, at first, when the account was suspended, I actually thought that it was suspended because the evil account knew that Becky's birthday was actually close and they didn't have anything on Becky. That's why they made those tweets, knowing that the account will be reported and closed off, because they knew exactly what they were doing. They're smart. If they're smart enough to follow Fren and Becky, smart enough to actually get footage on them, smart enough to actually try and extort them, and for them to not actually get caught, and even the people who they say that they're working for, no, is working for them in Thailand, for them not to get caught. That means that these people are smart, so they knew exactly what they were doing when they made those comments on Twitter to make the accounts being closed off. Now, for me to see Fren actually now be the one who is kind of mostly initiating the fan service and actually being close to Becky after she has this whole scandal and this video of her being intimate, like looming over her head, and she's doing exactly the one thing who the people have the video asking her not to do. That means she's not worried about the video. That means she's not worried about the video. She's not worried about the video being leaked. Now, here I am thinking, because I'm a person who thinks a lot. If you are not new to my channel, you know that. Like, I like to see or think about what this whole situation entails, like every single scenario. Now, if the video is true, a friend and saying being intimate being true, allegedly, what if allegedly they have finally gotten what they wanted from Friend and Sang and Idol Factory? What if they have gotten their payday? And that's why they made sure that the account was reported and suspended. So now they can't be able to release the video. Like, they got their money, whether from friends saying, from anyone, because they also went to these big fan clubs. So maybe our fan club got together, put together the money, and the video is now done for and will no longer be released. Because for the evil account to actually remain silent until now, it actually means that they have moved on. They are past all this. Now, this is me just thinking, allegedly, according to what information that has come forward, that the main goal of these people was actually the money. So what if they already have their money? Now they won't be interested anymore with friend Becky, and they would actually move forward. Now, that is just me thinking, and this is not me accusing anyone of anything. This is me just looking at the situation and looking at how things actually started and how I feel like they're going on. So yeah, Now, another thing that did happen is after friend put a profile pic of her and Becky on her Twitter, supporting or promoting like Becky's fan meets, like her fans came forward and started praising friend and saying how she is a good person and how she always stands by people and she always stands by Becky even through like the tough times, and Becky doesn't do the same. Now I was wondering like, when has friend actually stood by Becky through the tough time? Like, because I don't know of any occasion where Becky has had a tough time that I know of. I don't know. Maybe there has been, but I don't know about it and I'm willing to learn. Because also putting a profile picture of a birthday fan meet doesn't actually mean that she is like supporting her through a tough time. It's a celebration which she will be well compensated for, because she will be attending the event. She's probably going to be performing at the event. So she's going to get paid. She's going to get her cut. So I don't know what they approves. Like, it's a tough time. Yes, Becky didn't talk about friend's situation in public the minute it happened, and people actually saw her like she was moving on with her life because she was going to tennis and she was meeting her friends and she was doing all these things. But we haven't seen a situation where she is in the same situation and how friends react. And this is not me wishing on Becky to actually suffer the same fate as friend, but probably wait until she has like her own scandal and see how friends react before you start deciding who is a better person than the other. Because at the end of the day, you don't actually know if these two people are actually friends or they are just co-workers. And that's where you people confuse things, because you feel like if people are in a ship, they're actually friends and they actually genuinely like each other and they actually genuinely like spending time together, which is not the case. Some of them are just in a ship, but you will never see them hanging out somewhere where there are no cameras. Like, if they have to hang out, the cameras have to follow them. And that's it. So probably start getting that into your minds before you start actually accusing and pretending to know who is always there for the other person. And don't be fooled and actually believe when these actors say that so and so is always there for me. Like, they will say anything to actually upsell their market, and their market is their ship and not their talent. Like, it's time for you guys to actually understand that Thai actors, especially in the BL&GL industry, are not talented enough, most of them. And we don't know if they're talented enough because they prefer to sell a ship other than sell their acting. And that's why, for example, if two people in a ship are not performing fan service and are not always in each other's neck and they are not always touchy with people, their show actually doesn't get viewership. People would actually prefer watching a show whereby even off cameras, like, these people are still going on with their performance. So yes, that also happened, and people spent like until today actually praising how Friend is such a good person. Now, another topic of discussion was Becky's views on YouTube. Like, people were complaining that the numbers were not working or adding up, and those were Friendsters and friend Becky Ally, who also made it very clear that she felt like people like Becky's Candy House or big Becky fan bases were buying her views on YouTube. I don't know how that is possible, but I feel like we should like believe what she says, because apparently now she is also an expert in on YouTube statistics. So we have to take her word for it. Now, they were complaining that those numbers like were shooting up like crazy numbers, and they didn't understand how, and it could only be bot viewership. Now, at the end of the day, YouTube has the last say, and for YouTube to actually post those views, that means that those views are the views that have been gotten on YouTube. And if there is anything that compromises like YouTube will make sure that either that account is suspended, or that account is given a warning, or that account video is actually like demonetized. Like it won't make the YouTube account holder any money. So I don't know is it I feel like anything concerning Becky always like gets hate, especially from people like friend Becky Ally, who pretend to be like for Friend and Becky and loving them equally. But I feel like the shippers, when it comes to most of the times when it's Becky flying so and flying her, instead of them congratulating her and actually pushing for the video to actually be watched more and to actually get even better numbers, like they will find ways to actually put it down. Now, if they don't understand statistics or whatever, when the video was put, like Becky and Friend were riding solo. But lately, we have seen that they have geared more into the fan service thing. So what if like those people who were not considering themselves shippers, what if those ex-shippers who have now had deviated and became friendsters, what if they have decided to now start showing their support secretly? What if shippers who were no longer had said they were no longer friend Becky shippers were now actually watching the video? That happens too, because with whatever momentum that geared towards Friend and Becky being lovey-dovey is obviously going to generate some traffic in whatever project they have. Like, even the non-believers will become believers and would actually start supporting the girls even in their separate endeavors. Like, it's not that hard to understand. Like, even with those followers of Friend that she shoot up from 598 to 600,000 followers on Twitter after the whole changing of her profile picture. Yes, some of them might be bots, but some of them are actually genuine ex-shippers who are coming back to the fold. So probably they had changed their original account to either suit like either Becky or some other celebrity that they have decided to follow up, and now they're going back home. So they are starting to follow Fren afresh. So maybe before you start criticizing, maybe actually find out or try to like read the room before you actually speak on things that you might not understand. Now, yesterday was the Freenbecky fan meet in Taipei, and people were loving it. Like there was a lot of people who were in attendance, and as you remember, the event was sold out. So Becky and Fren were pretty cozy with one another, especially Fren. She was touchy. Again, I'm saying evil spirit. Again, how much was given to actually shut them up? This is not me causing any drama. This is me speaking on facts that the only reason that evil couldn't shut up was because they needed the money. And probably they got the money. That's why they've been silent. Because future, not future, past events have shown that whenever Fren and Becky had some little bit of resemblance of happiness, that account was on their neck. But it hasn't been for the past 1 week, which begs the question, what happened to that account? What changed? Now, they were so close. Fren was so touchy. Like, it was shocking to everyone. And it was a celebration to most people. But it was also a disappointment to Becky Stans, who had worked so hard to actually find ways and push like the separation between Becky and Fren. Like they were so happy that Becky was actually having more solo work, more solo projects. Like she was becoming more of herself. And they actually felt that when I think February, when the contract is ending, that Becky will go her separate ways. But the way things are looking, like there's still going to be another part, or there will be another review of the contract, which means that Becky might probably stay with Fren for another year or two. Now, Becky stands are extremely disappointed, and they are not afraid of like showing their disappointment and talking about their disappointment, and some are even threatening of walking away from Becky if she continues to be part of the fan service, if she continues to initiate the fan service. Like they are going to go because they have been through a lot. They have been fighting with the Friendsters and the shippers from even before like August, but it became worse after the video leaked. Like the friend stands, the Becky stands, and the Freenbecky shippers have been at war since then, every single day. And most efforts have been put towards making sure that the Becky stands actually decrease in numbers. Like their huge accounts have actually been constantly being reported and suspended, but they always find ways of coming back. And for them now to see that Becky is actually being part of the problem and of the whole thing that they're fighting against, they're disappointed, because even if you are on an online war, it actually takes your mental strength, because at the end of the day, negativity is negativity. Like it will actually seep into you. And for them to actually feel that Becky is not actually doing her part, and her part is actually to make sure that Like she pushes herself. She's not caught into the fan service thing and all that. Like they're extremely disappointed. Now it has gotten to a point that even the Becky fans are comparing themselves with the Friends dance because they're saying whatever friend does, if it is a matter geared towards fan service, like Friends dance are always saying that they always find a way to praise friend. But when it comes to Becky and how friend is a good person, and when it comes to Becky, it's how like people now are shutting her down, putting her down, abusing her, accusing her of so many things other than actually praising her. Now, the difference is that, like, how will they put it? Will they put it that Becky is actually doing fan service because she's actually trying to cover up friend mistakes? That will still get hurt from the friend stance. Will she say that will Becky fan saying the reason she's fan servicing is because she wants to save friend's career? That will actually get hurt from friend stance when they say that Becky is fan servicing because she's a kind person and she actually cares about friend. Like that will still get hurt from friend stance because friend stance would ask, then why didn't she speak up for friend when the whole friend saying kissing scandal came out? So there is no way of actually them praising Becky in the situation without them getting hurt from the friend stance. And I feel like Becky fans should understand that. Like the position that Becky put herself or her fans put her, like she is always going to get hurt no matter what, whether from her fans or from fans. So that is something that Becky has to live through. And when February comes and she doesn't sign that contract and renew her contract, like the hate is going to be 10 times. And if she does sign that contract, because these big Becky accounts have made people feel like when it gets to February, she is not going to sign that contract to renew her contract. And when she renews it, like her hate is going to be 20 times. So these are positions that you yourself, these big accounts that are actually asking people to calm down now, are situations that you created for yourselves. So other than now starting to blame people for the monsters that you yourself created, maybe find better ways to actually construct your tweets. Maybe find better ways to actually use your words next time. Because the words you use and the tweets you use will actually come back and bite you. Now that is happening because you had constantly say how she is not interested in fan service, how she won't be taking on the fan service, how she has learned her lesson, how she's hesitant and all this, how she won't be renewing a contract, and all those things will come to pass, forgetting that these two people have two projects to push and they don't like put any value to their talent, and they only feel like the only way people would actually watch their products is when they do fan service. So that is what they will actually use because they want their project to actually sell, because they have spent all this money to actually make their project. And if their talents won't do and they believe their talents never do, and the fan service does, the fan service pays, they're actually going to use the fan service. So probably you guys could have just calmed down and let the project end, let the fan meets end, let the promotion end, and until the contract is not signed, because they will do the fan service until the contract are no longer signed and they have new partners, then speak on her not taking part on fan service. So yeah, so this is the end of the video. So if you haven't subscribe, turn on the post notification, give me a thumbs up if you like this video, share this video, tell me in the comment section what you think about this whole week. Do you think that Nam is actually being truthful and saying that whatever she does, people will always accuse her of shipping, so now she doesn't care and she will do whatever she wants? Do you think that friend changing her profile pic to Becky's camp, whatever fan meet, birthday fan meet, was actually her just being a supportive part of the ship? Do you feel like she shouldn't have put like their pic together? Because some people were saying should have put a solo pic, and I don't understand when they say solo pic, do they mean she should have put her pic with that whole Becky birthday fan meet, which would have created hate for her, because people would have said that she is thinking about herself, like she wants to take the day from Becky. And if she would have put Becky alone, she would have also gotten hate, because people were saying that she's an attention grabbing whatever. Now, that's why the safer choice was for her to put them together, even though she's still getting hate until now. Now, even though Nam and Heng followed suit later on to do it, I think probably they did it because they wanted to take the hit off like friend, and feel like maybe it was a group discussion and all this. But I feel like they are just clout chasers, or they were just told to do it when they realized that people didn't actually take it the way they expected people to take it. So let me know in the comment section what you think the situation is. Is it because they're clout chasers, or it's because that maybe they talked in their group and said maybe you also should do it, so that people see that it was a well thought decision amongst the group? And what do you think about like the friend stance, saying that friend is very kind and she has always been supportive of Becky, and Becky hasn't been doing the same? Like it is a whole discussion. So let me know, does it show that friend is kind, or it is just a way of her pushing like the project? Because we know the Uranus project is starting to film, and the Lady Pin project has started to film, and they are due next year. So she's setting the road, or clearing the road, to actually for people to actually watch the content, like the content, and support the content. And it's not a matter of her being kind and all that. Now, another thing is about the views on the videos on YouTube. Do you actually believe that those views have been bought, or have been kind of altered or forged or whatever, like people are claiming? Or do you believe like they are genuine fans and probably the song is good enough and the YouTube has been pushing the video for people to actually watch it, or people have just been watching it because, or watching them because they love the songs? And the last one is about the whole Taipei fan meet. How do you feel about the Freenbecky Taipei fan meet and everything that actually came after it? Like the Freenbecky shippers actually pretty excited and getting this whole momentum and actually celebrating it, which I feel like probably now they're already in their groups talking about how people should donate money for them to buy gifts as usual and all that. And also like the Becky fans saying that they are going to like take a break from supporting Becky. Do you believe like all this is justified, and the consequences of what are the consequences of the Taipei fan meet? So let me know in the comment section. So bye guys.